Good morning. I am Dina Moses from Vermont Weaving School and Vermont Weaving Supplies. This video is in conjunction with the first Weaving Club kit for four shaft looms. And if you look in your handout, the one that says 30-year Huck Napkins, Learn, Build, and Create, May 2021, on page 3. That's where the notes 3 and 4 are also cover what I'm going into today. So if you're more of a visual words on page kind of person, it's there and we can work with both. This is one way that a draft can look, and just the old books, they do not look like this, but most of the patterns that you see that are more modern will look like this. They'll be computer generated. There are 4 sections of this. Let me show you what the 4 sections are. And you can see they're separated, right? It's like a graph, and you can break it up into 4 quadrants. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one I want to look at is this. And that is a representation of how each thread is threaded through a heddle, which shaft that specific thread goes on. This line represents shaft 1, that represents shaft 2, shaft 3, shaft 4. It's written as though when you're weaving, you're sitting here. Okay, that's where you're sitting. So the first shaft will be the one closest to you in many traditions. There are traditions where it goes the other way, but we're just going to assume that we're using the North American tradition. So shaft 1, shaft 2, shaft 3, shaft 4, each column is a thread. So if you're sitting about to start weaving, right? So you're sitting right here, and you're looking at your shafts and you look at the thread all the way to the right, that's going to be on shaft 1. The next thread will be on shaft 2, and then on 3, 4, and then you're going to start back again at 1, 2, 3, 4. When I thread my heddles, I am a front to back warper. So when I thread my heddles, now I know that it's not true for everybody, but when I thread my heddles, I am sitting back here and I am looking at it in that direction. So what I do is when I'm sitting back there, I turn this upside down and I'm working, it'll be from right to left where I am oriented, but it's actually from left to right on this picture. So the first thread that I would thread from the back would be on shaft 4, and then shaft 3, and then shaft 2, and then shaft 1. I do recommend for left-handed weavers that you start in the other direction. And if that was the case, you would start threading. If you're sitting in the back of the loom, you would start threading on your left side, which would be the right side of the draft. And that's this 1, 2, 3, 4. I think most of this you can probably figure out when you're actually sitting looking at the loom. But again, the things to know is threading the shafts. Each row is a shaft. Each column is a thread. Okay, so let's now look at this quadrant. That is the tie-up. Now, if you're working on a table loom or a direct tie loom, this is not going to be applicable to what you're doing, and we're going to have to change, and I'll cover that in the next video. We're going to have to shift what's going on here. But if you're working on a jack loom, countermarch loom, counterbalance loom, this is going to be the relationship, how your shafts are connected to your treadles. Each column represents a treadle. That's treadle 1, treadle 2, treadle 3, treadle 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's wait till that disappears. And then each row represents a shaft. So that's shaft 1, shaft 2, shaft 3, shaft 4. So if you look at your first treadle right here, Your first treadle is connected to shafts 1 and shafts 3. The second treadle is right here, and that's connected to shafts 2 and shafts 4. The third treadle is shafts 1 and shaft 2, and so on. This is then your treadling sequence. That's how you step on the treadles as you're throwing the shuttle. It is read from top down for the most part. Again, there are places around the world. Weaving is so vast, so there's places around the world where this is different. But in the US and Canada, where most of our drafts are going to mimic, you start at the top row and then you go down from there. Okay. So when you're sitting here, right, and you throw the shuttle for the first time, you step right here, starting at the top, you step on treadle 1 and shafts 1 and 3 go up. Then you step on treadle 2 and shafts 2 and 4 go up, and shafts 1 again. I'm sorry, treadle 1, treadle 2, treadle 1, treadle 2, treadle 1, treadle 2, right? You just keep repeating that. And this is what the fabric looks like that you're going to get. And really, that's a plain weave, right? 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4. And then what I did was I skipped a line. This part down here is meant to be a completely separate fabric. I mean, you could combine the two if you want. That runs into its own problems. But this is a twill, just a straight twill. And if you go over here, the first thing that you step on for that is treadle 3. And treadle 3 is lifting up shafts 1 and shafts 2. Then you go on to treadle 4, which is lifting up 2 and 3, shaft 5, shaft 6, and then you repeat. All right. So just to review this, I will go into more detail in other videos about other specific aspects of it. This is your threading of your shafts. This is your tie-up. This is your treadling sequence, read top to bottom. And then this is your finished fabric here. And just one more note is that often in patterns, you will see a section of this not connected to other sections. Like you might just see the threading, or you might just see the tie-up and the treadling sequence. And you can always come back on page 4 of that write-up. All 4 are connected. So you can always see that in the pattern, then go back to what a full draft looks like and pick that part out. Just one more note, I hope this is not confusing, but the drafts that I used on the handouts are different than the draft. It's the same system, but the threads are in different places and the treadling sequence is different. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon.